Welcome back to Wrestling Flash. In this WWE and all things wrestling video we are going to look at Lacey Evans attacks Roman Reigns, superstars Vince McMahon had affairs with, new leak, Rhea Ripley is on a heart monitor, WWE legend threatens Randy Orton, Roman Reigns breaks silence after returning to WWE for the first time in 3 weeks. First, let's look at Rhea Ripley is on a heart monitor. WWE superstar Rhea Ripley revealed on Twitter that she is on a heart monitor. Last month, Ripley won a fatal 4-way match on WWE Raw to become the #1 contender for Bianca Belair's Raw Women's Championship. She was forced to back out of the match due to an undisclosed injury. It was later revealed that she was suffering from brain and mouth injuries. The Eradicator of the Judgment Day has since been absent from television. She took to Twitter to reveal that she is wearing a heart monitor to observe her condition. It will be interesting to see where Ripley picks up after she recovers from her injury. Fans are hoping for a speedy recovery for the former champion. Last week, WWE had its annual Money in the Bank Premium Live event. During the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, Shotzi had several botches which led to fans trolling her on social media. Shotzi addressed these issues, but some fans didn't take it quite as well, with some becoming increasingly vile and disturbing. Shotzi left Twitter and several superstars defended her. In a tweet, Rhea Ripley stated that their tweets are affecting the lives of the wrestler. She reminded them about the difference between real life and characters. Hi, Demi here. You know, the real-life human inside Rhea Ripley. Just wanted to point out that wrestlers and any form of entertainer is a real-life human off-screen. Don't wish harm on anyone. Don't wish for anyone to be buried. Don't wish for anyone to be fired. F***ing disgrace, Ripley wrote. It is important to remember that superstars are portraying a role on television and fans should not harass them on social media. Superstars Vince McMahon had affairs with, new leak. Dave Meltzer has stated that he spoke to former WWE writers who suspected Vince McMahon of being in relationships with certain talent during the mid-2000s. Last month, a series of allegations were made against McMahon and John Laurinaitis. WWE's board of directors has launched an investigation into the two men who were accused, during which Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis both stepped back from their positions in the company. Stephanie McMahon and Bruce Pritchard became the interim CEO and head of talent relations respectively. On a recent episode of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer claimed that he spoke to former WWE writers who indicated that McMahon had relationships with talent during the mid-2000s. I talked to some writers from that era, one in particular, for a long time today, said Meltzer, and they would say that sometimes came in and it was like you gotta start pushing this woman. And it's not told to them that Vince is sleeping with them or anything, but when you get this directive that you have to push this woman who clearly wasn't ready in the ring, wasn't ready talking wise, wasn't over, and you start asking questions. Most of those questions would later lead to those same answers. This has not been anything new. The Divas Search was a popular segment back in the early to mid-2000s. The objective of the competition was to win and become the next WWE diva. Several notable names came out of this segment and worked with the company for years. However, most of these women either left the company early on or became underutilized stars on the roster. In the same episode, Meltzer also spoke to a former WWE writer who explained why Divas Search contestants left the company sooner rather than later. I know one writer who told me one name. It is that Diva Search era people that a lot of them came and went very quickly. They were brought to the main roster because they looked good in bikinis and then they were gone. It's a really ugly situation when you think about it. As controversy continues to surround Vince McMahon, there is a feeling of uncertainty surrounding what the future holds for his company. We will keep you updated on any developments to this story. WWE legend threatens Randy Orton. WWE legend Road Dogg Brian James has revealed that he would love to have a singles program with Randy Orton. The former D-Generation X member is a former hardcore champion and intercontinental champion. He is also a 6-time tag team champion alongside his longtime partner Billy Gunn. Dogg was a producer and writer for WWE until he was released in January of this year. The WWE Hall of Famer answered several fan questions during an ad-free shows.com Q&A session, and he was asked about his dream opponent from the current roster. Road Dogg was quick to name the Apex Predator, who he considered to be the best television wrestler in the world. The former WWE writer spoke about the difference between TV and live event wrestling and felt Orton had mastered both styles. I've said this before but not publicly, Randy Orton. Look, I don't know if he will be back, but Randy Orton, in my mind, is one of the best, and I've said this before too, television wrestlers, stated Road Dogg. There is a difference between television wrestling and live event wrestling, and Randy is great at both, but really good at telling a story with his body and facials and his, without verbal communication, he is telling a story. The tag team legend said he would love to have a 3-month-long storyline with Randy Orton, which should ideally culminate in a brutal no DQ match. So I would love to have a run with him, maybe like a 3-month run that ends up in some kind of hardcore match or something. I think that would be super cool. The Hall of Famer initially competed as an in-ring competitor after his comeback. He revealed on this week's episode of his podcast that he always wanted to work with Orton. Here's what Road Dogg said on his You Didn't Know podcast, which revolved around Royal Rumble 2012 and his WWE return. I had worked with everybody, I thought, but there were some new guys. Look, Randy Orton was one I had not worked with before, and I was excited about the opportunity to work with him because from the other side of the fence, from the creative standpoint, Randy Orton is, you know, who you want on your roster, Dogg said. Roman Reigns breaks silence after returning to WWE for the first time in 3 weeks. Roman Reigns has broken his silence after returning to WWE programming for the first time in 3 weeks. On this week's episode of SmackDown, the head of the table was accompanied to the ring by the Bloodline and Paul Heyman. He asked the WWE Universe to acknowledge him, receiving a mixed reaction from them. Taking to Twitter, Reigns posted a photo from SmackDown, centering on himself. He also had an interesting caption, which read, "Exactly where I need to be." As seen during the opening segment of SmackDown, Reigns' special counsel Paul Heyman delivered another top-notch promo. Heyman claimed that he loves the Tribal Chief and the Usos but warned the reigning undisputed WWE Universal Champion regarding Brock Lesnar, who will have his back against the wall at SummerSlam. The segment also saw Mr. Money in the Bank, Theory, interrupt the Bloodline, teasing a potential cash-in at some point down the road. In response to Roman Reigns' tweet, the WWE Universe praised the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Fans even claimed that they missed the Tribal Chief. Reigns last appeared on the blue brand on June 17 when he successfully defended the undisputed WWE Universal Championship against Riddle in an incredible main event between the two men. The Tribal Chief did miss the recently concluded Money in the Bank Premium Live event. However, at the same show, the Usos did retain their undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships against the Street Profits in an instant classic match. Nevertheless, Reigns' next big title defense will be at the upcoming SummerSlam show, where he will face Brock Lesnar in a last man standing match. This has been touted as the final match between the two arch rivals, and Reigns' goal will be to successfully walk out of Nashville as still the reigning champion. Lacey Evans attacks Roman Reigns. A WWE fan, Ringsadid, has tweeted a video making an entrance to Roman Reigns' theme song. The tribute even caught Lacey Evans' attention not too long ago. While Reigns and Evans currently portray heel characters on SmackDown, the latter turned to her dark side more recently than the Tribal Chief. She has maintained kayfabe on Twitter due to the storyline, and the aforementioned fan received an in-character response from her as a result. Lacey Evans, of course, is no stranger to playing a heel on WWE television. For someone who is an excellent trash talker, her tweet is an indication of what to expect from her moving forward. With Liv Morgan as the babyface SmackDown Women's Champion, Evans could be an intriguing challenger at some point. But for now, Morgan has her hands full with Natalya and Ronda Rousey. Meanwhile, Reigns is set to defend his undisputed WWE Universal Championship at SummerSlam. He will face Brock Lesnar in a last man standing match at the Premium Live event. Reigns and his Bloodline crew have one of the most significant entrances in WWE right now, so it comes as no surprise that fans frequently imitate their walk to the ring. TikTok star Ebukedeke's impersonation of the Tribal Chief's entrance went viral earlier this year, as it received reactions from Reigns, Paul Heyman, as well as Jimmy and Jey Uso. WWE shared a video of the Bloodline responding to Ebukedeke's clip. Heyman suggested that the group file a lawsuit, considering they were being mimicked.